Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here, and today we're looking at Alpha Flight 21 through 24 by John Byrne. Alright guys, so continuing my series of revisiting John Byrne's Alpha Flight in 4-issue increments. I just did issue 20, one of my favorite books, with the debut of Aurora's, ice skating costume. And the last, we left her and Sasquatch, facing off against Gilded Lily. Sasquatch was turned into a golden statue, as Walter Lankowski, by the way. And so we have this cover for 21. I always think it's fun when the artist does something interesting with their signature, and he turned the smoke into his signature. It's funny because this is kind of reminding me of what a lot of artists, I feel like it's sort of was popularized with Mike Mignola, and like somebody like Rob Liefeld really ran with it. It's a good way. I mean, I feel like somebody like John, these like little smoke things. It's a good way to add more texture to the art, but I think it was quickly used to just cover up having to draw feet. Ooh, Cloak and Dagger, and now in their own bi-monthly comic book. It's like, why not bi-monthly comic books? I mean, if you can do a good quality comic bi-monthly, I would think I'd rather have that than monthly crap or just nothing at all. I loved Rick Leonardi and Terry Austin's art on Cloak and Dagger. It's funny because it was written by Bill Mantlo, and I have a huge affection for Cloak and Dagger, but then I really hated a lot of the stuff that Bill Mantlo did on Alpha Flight, so there's that. John Byrne, story and pencils, Bob Wiacek, inker, Andy Yonkis, coloring, Rick Parker, lettering, Denny O'Neil, editor. Walter, Sherry, what has happened to you? I learned French from reading Alpha Flight, so not only is it entertaining, it's educational too. And then we have Gilded Lily, John Byrne and his crazy female villains. Like, he should have, I feel like he could have been like a great developer for Disney or something, because a lot of his villains just have that sort of Cruella de Vil kind of whatever. And then we learn that she's in cahoots. You see, this is another storytelling technique from older comics. I'm not sure if they use it much anymore, but a lot of times flashbacks would be colored in a monochromatic sort of tone to denote that it's not, the current reality. Anyway, remember the Star line of comic books? That was fun. Fraggle Rock. Diablo. I love all these classic Marvel villains, and this is funny that they're in cahoots together. They were, I guess, lovers, and, she wanted to hang on to her youth and all that, so she had to get into alchemy. I mean, you know what they say about alchemy. I don't know what they say about alchemy either, but it sounded foreboding, did it not? Rocket Raccoon by Mike Mignola. It's funny to see all the threads, like, come together and cross over and stuff, because Mike Mignola did Rocket Raccoon, then he did the Hulk, then he did Alpha Flight, of course would go on to Hellboy. And I really, really hated Mike Mignola's art at first. I thought it was ugly and just like caveman and blah, blah, blah. But now I just have such a love and affection for it. I mean, obviously his current style is just like breathtaking and to die for. But his early superhero work, just all kinds of fun. So I guess these are all her husbands. I don't know. She turned them all into gold. And then she just hangs out. I mean, what are the odds that Aurora and Sasquatch even showed up at this little castle? I'm sure there was a reason behind it. See, it's all good to turn someone into a statue unless they can shapeshift into a big Sasquatch and break free of their gilded housing. I love Snowbird and just the way Byrne handled her. He always kept her so, like, cool and mystical and just, like, really in touch with her powers and just, like, really tied to, the mysticism of Canada, I guess. I want an Aurora golden statue. That would be fun. And then, oh my gosh, like talk about the ultimate humiliation, right? Like you're this crazy old broad who like turns people into golden statues and you have this big elegant white robe on. And then he rips it up. And this is why Byrne is fantastic in so many ways. Like, I don't know, just the fun, eerie. Like, would this not look cool if they made a TV show out of Alpha Flight? I would just love to see this character, like, done in live action CGI or whatever the hell they call it. And that's just kind of funny too. They're buried under the snow and then Sasquatch sneezes and to reveal them. Because comic books. Next issue, more North Star and Aurora. So let's bring it on. Issue 22. Here we go. This is fun. So John Byrne, it seems like Gilded Lily was like anorexically thin and now Pink Pearl is large and in charge. And I feel like the inspiration for this character, believe it or not, if you're an artist, you know this. Remember those Pink Pearl rubber erasers? There you go. I love this cover too, even though there is like a coloring flaw. They gave her, instead of her bare flesh legs, they put white tights on her, which is something that they might have added to her costume at some point, which I like it like that anyway, so I'm cool with it. But Rub Out was such a great title, hilarious. And I mean, how did we know for sure that North Star was gay? I feel like no self-respecting homosexual would wear green jeans with a red vest. I don't know, it's a little matchy-matchy Christmas for me. She shows up for help and she's like, oh, screw you, I don't need you. And he's like, but you're naked, it's snowing, let's do this. Here we go, another monochromatic flashback. See, it's like once you know the tricks of the trade, reading comics is not only fun, it's easy and educational. You can tell this is a flashback. She was fighting with Walter and then she just woke up flying in Canada in a bikini. I mean, been there, right? It's funny because North Star has like all these people around him and I wonder who they are. Like, are they just like staff? Like, what does he even do? I know he's an Olympic level skier who cheated to get his medals, but oh, this is some fun foreshadowing too. Nice Xerox copy, photocopy of the Canada Nightline. Anyway, Elizabeth and Heather are walking around town and she glimpses Mac. But he's dead. He can't be. What is he doing? Oh my gosh. I hope it's not a robot hell-bent on screwing over Alpha Flight. Once again, I mention this often, but I've never like planted a kiss on somebody's mouth without provocation. And it happens in John Byrne comic books all the time. It must be a thing from the past or whatever. Don't you hate when somebody knocks on the door and you open the door and they punch you in the face? I mean, that is so rude. Especially when they're Pink Pearl. And boy, is she pretty. I mean, she is the fat lady of the circus. Which isn't really a power. It's just a thyroid problem. And then she squashes, I mean, if you can use your cleavage as a weapon to knock people out, I say go for it. Box, I always thought that was a cool design for his costume. I love drawing him, actually. And I kind of love this, like, negative effect of him just sort of phasing into the costume. I also love the fact that his name is Roger Box, B-A-C-C. HS or however the hell you spell it, and then his character is Box. Like, there's so many like puns and things like that throughout comic book history that are just like, come on. But then you see it happening in real life. I mean, that which was pointed out to me as an example of whether or not we are living in a simulation or not, which is something I don't like to think about too often because it kind of keeps me up at night. Like, the odds being that this is a simulation and this is not base reality. Oh well. Where were we? Okay, so Aurora and North, the bearded lady. I mean, women just did not have that much glam in the circus, did they? Either you're the fat lady, you're the bearded lady. When I tell them of your past, like, what a bitch. Like, can't you just be nice to your brother? I have a sister and I love her and we're very close. And if she would have ever sold me out to the members of our Canadian super team, I would have been so PO'd. Great cover here. Love Snowbird Sasquatch versus regular Sasquatch. Bob Wiacek embellishing. Story and pencils, John Byrne. Such a great splash page of Snowbird. I like the fact that she has such a different design. Like, she has these really low, like, hairline, which is always covered by her headdress until you see her without her headdress. And here she is talking to the elder gods, and they're telling her the evil of Sasquatch, and she's like, no, no, no. He did this in issue 13 with the flashback sequence of, or the nightmare Heather was having about Mac's funeral, where he didn't put borders on the panels, which is kind of like an animation kind of look that they do nowadays that I always like in, like, you know, fully rendered comics or whatever. Some of the coloring on here is such crap with this flexography. Oh my god. Like, look at that. Like, is that green? Like, or is it blue? Is it neon? Like, what is it? And then you get little things like glitches here, like with his mouth being yellow and just like, yuck. I don't know. I always thought that Byrne wrote really good interpersonal relationships. Like, just the chemistry between Puck and Elizabeth here is, like, fun and good. And they're, like, realistic type of, I don't know, interpersonal reactions. And then they go to fight this robot, Caliber. Somebody just brought up Caliber to me and I didn't remember. And I was like, oh yeah, now I remember. But it's just sort of like, I don't know, a sign of the times, like sort of a guy in a big crazy robot suit. And this is Sasquatch. I feel like Sasquatch had been teased throughout the series as sort of having a dark side or a darker origin, which is kind of interesting because, you know, Walter is a scientist. He sort of did this to himself. Like, he sort of turned himself into Sasquatch in the same way that David Banner did in the Incredible Hulk TV show. So for his powers to be tied to, like, the ancients and, you know, evil spirits and stuff like that is kind of weird but cool at the same time, right? I mean, where else do you have that? And Snowbird has her mission and she's just like, I am not messing around. I'm swooping in as this horrifying owl, die beast, going right through the jugular, through the chest. Immediately, they have this epic fight. Aurora's like, get your hands off my man. I love that. I don't know how, like, I don't know if I would, birds kind of freak me out, so I don't know if I would have the wherewithal to try to strangle a giant crazy Arctic owl, but hey, you know. And then what does she get for it? See, and this goes to show Aurora's always almost immediately taken out of the fight, which is like so not girl power. I think she, if Aurora were in my hands, she would be like the Captain Marvel of the Marvel universe, except everyone would like her. And you're saying everyone does like Captain Marvel. That's not true. Everyone likes Carol Danvers and Miss Marvel. Look how different Sasquatch's face has changed. That's another thing, like his, I I think that's why Byrne also ruins a lot of characters, because, like, nobody could draw Alpha Flight like John Byrne did, so after he left, I mean, nobody even came close, really. I kind of enjoyed Paul Smith's interpretation in the X-Men Alpha Flight miniseries. That was good. And the only way to beat a Sasquatch is to become a Sasquatch. I mean, how cool is this? I kind of always loved the animals that Snowbird would turn into. And this is a fight to the finish. This is an epic battle of the Titans. And she just rips his heart right off of his chest. I mean, how brutal is that? And she's all, hell no, oh my god, you killed Walter. That is my boyfriend. What am I going to do without him? And then we have the issue 24. And look, this is, okay, so John Byrne has been on Alpha Flight since issue 1. Issue 1 was a double-sized issue. Issue 12 was a double-sized issue. And issue 24 is a double-sized issue. Mind you, he's still doing Fantastic Four at the same time, writing and penciling, probably inking the Fantastic Four, and inking this on and off. So I don't know what kind of crazy genius he is, but he is. So story and pencils, John Byrne's, embellishing Bob Wiacek, and we've established the fact that as critical as I am of inkers of John Byrne, I do enjoy Bob Wiacek's inking on Byrne. I feel he's very faithful to the pencils. This is funny, this is a great establishing shot for Byrne. Byrne draws these epic, desolate sort of landscapes very well. Such a great reveal. So I guess they're going for the soul of Sasquatch. Is that why they're here? There was so much, you know, animosity and, like, I love that North Star shows up and Aurora immediately punches him out. He's like, oh, I came here because you wanted me to. And she's like, I didn't ask you to. And he's like, well, screw that. I'm out of here. And then Snowbird's like, not so fast, North Star. You're staying here against your will. And I kind of love that. Like, the subtlety of some of the, like, that's so typical of a strong female character. Like, she wields all his powers, but she's not, like, boasting it on every page. She just sort of uses it when she has to. And I think John Byrne wrote really great. Strong female characters. I always enjoyed them. I always enjoyed She-Hulk. This is kind of fun. This is, like, crazy out there. Like, John Byrne, like, tech and stuff. I feel like he sort of goes into these Kirby modes on stuff like this. I'm like, how cool this is. I love this. And I also love that it's completely black and white. You just get to see all the insane details and all the... This is such a great, like, classic John Byrne double-page spread. You know, this is almost giving me, like, I don't know why I got a thought of, like, Castle Grayskull. I would love to see John Byrne draw, like, a He-Man Masters of the Universe book. I don't know if he's ever drawn He-Man, but I feel like he's drawn everyone, but he definitely needs to do that on his bucket list. I don't think we'll ever see that, but damn, that would be amazing. This is Alpha Flight at its best. They're obviously in this other realm, and you've got, like, Tundra just showing up. Here comes, I mean, look at how awful, like, this printing and coloring it is. It's so unfortunate. I have to say that is, you know, one of the nice things about modern comics is the printing is so much better. You get to see the art, how it was actually intended. You know, they didn't have any of the problems of, you know, there were a lot of restraints on as far as what kind of colors they could do and the effects they could do. And now with the advance of computer coloring and all that stuff, it's like the sky's pretty much the limit. But give me this, you know, black and white, pen and ink, flat color look any day of the week. It's just like classic superhero art. And I just love it so much. And I love polar bears because they're cute, right? Menacing and brutal, but cute nonetheless. Listen to these pages sticking together. The Well of Sorrows. Did we decide what final conflict? Okay, because usually Byrne has like really amazing like titles for his stories. So one of the classic comic book things that's sort of gone by the wayside. They don't really give stories titles anymore. And they should. It just adds to the fun. There's so many fun things about comic books that just make them so enjoyable to read. And they've gotten rid of, I mean, comics change, you adapt, of course. Styles are more modern and more cinematic and less exciting, in my humble opinion. I don't know why I'm having a problem with these pages. We don't know what to do with Walter's soul, so we're just going to throw him in box. That was such a great idea. I can see, I just like little things like that Byrne came up with. I always enjoyed them. And here's Snowbird getting her groove on. Teach me what it's like to be a woman. Amen, sister friend. I always love this. See, how could John Byrne not love Alpha Flight? I mean, this is such a gorgeous shot of Shaman. I just think it's a lot of fun. Anyway, Aurora. I'm sure people freaked out over the costume change, right? Dear Alpha Flight, here is one torn up copy of Alpha Flight number 20. How dare you change Aurora's costume? You've ruined my life. Signed, Michael Troy. Just kidding. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We've got one episode left in the John Byrne retrospective of the early Alpha Flight. I hope you've been enjoying this series. Please subscribe to my channel. I super appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll bring you more content soon. All right, thanks, guys.